Hello? Hello? I'm here. Are you there? Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me? Can you see me? Um, Marin's pounding black tea. I just cracked open a new Coke Zero. Yes, yes, and yes. Fabulous. Oh, my Lord, you all. I don't know. I don't know what's happening in the world of technology right now. I'm just going to be grateful. I'm going to be so grateful that we are connected right now. Thank you, YouTube goddess. So hi everyone. Okay, yeah, no, don't say anything about anything technology related. I will just say that it has been such a day of trying to get the YouTube premiere uploaded and processing to the goddess that controls us right now. And she has smiled upon me because Black Widow, because it finally processed. So I thought I was going to have to cancel everything this evening, and it looks like I won't. So yay. So the premiere is good to go at 6 p.m. And we are here chatting live now. I've just been a little tense about the whole thing. My neck. So yeah, so everything is good to go. If you're on Patreon, you should have seen our big Patreon release this morning. So you might see that I have some of the garments here on display. So I'm going to give you a little rundown of some of the stuff that is on Patreon, and then we can just chat about what's coming up this evening and all of that. So cheers. Cheers. Thank you, Coke Zero. This is not sponsored by Coke Zero, but they have kept me going many a day. Okay, everyone. Poor Amy didn't get to keep her skirt. Well, I'm keeping it as a sample for now. It was also rather big on her. It's a long story. But it might be mine because it didn't really fit her. So we had to kind of cinch it on her. But anyway, that's another story. So let's talk about the skirts. And okay, so what I put up on on Patreon this morning was 3 embellished skirts, Stanwick skirts, and they're all made in wool felt. And this project was so exciting for me. And Missy actually is the one who inspired, Missy's here with us, inspired this whole idea because she's a big fan of felt circle skirts, particularly ones that are embellished or appliqued. And she shared some of her favorites with me. And I've had some that I've been collecting on Pinterest for a long time. So what we were thinking about with Stanwick was ways that you could embellish, applique, customize, because it's just such a great blank canvas in some ways for embellishments. And if we think about the 50s, of course, what do we think about is the iconic poodle skirt. But felt skirts could really be so much more elegant and interesting than just like the kitschy poodle skirt that we think of. So we kind of came down to 3 ideas that we wanted to work on. And the first, I'll talk about Melicia's first because I don't have the sample. Melicia does have her sample, so she'll have to take a picture for us or something, or join me for a live sometime. No, I'm just kidding. We can't add another person to this whole process. But anyway, so for Melicia's skirt, and if you watch the Patreon video, you'll see that I did include photos of the original source material. So if you want to know what our actual like exact inspiration was, please do watch the video. So for Melicia's, it's something that looks like a picture that looks like a catalog shot of a skirt with polka dots and then like trim around the bottom. So we figured out a way to make this skirt with embellishments. So I ordered these paillettes, black flat sequins that Melisha sewed onto the skirt. So they're like spangled, but they look like polka dots. So it's really fun. And then a trim around the bottom. So that is, of course, in purple because that's her favorite color. So it's a beautiful violet felt color. And then Amy's, let's talk about hers next. This was actually inspired by a butterick pattern, and I really took it quite literally. It has these two-tone diamonds that are appliqued on top, and then a tassel in the middle of each diamond. So I have to thank Missy specifically for this idea because she posted this butterick pattern on her Instagram. So we were super inspired by this, and we made this one for Amy. And she came in, and it was really fun. In the video, Amy from Poison Girls comes in, and she's in the video, and I like show her how to do one of the appliques. So she's kind of like part of the process, and then she modeled it for us too. So that was really fun. Yeah, so this is all, that was thanks to Missy. Damn Corona, I know. We'll come up with another one, Missy. I know you have lots of ideas. So yeah, it came out really beautifully. I don't know if you can tell on the live here, but the colors are like this deep turquoise, as I like to say, and then a lighter aqua here. So I really wanted to kind of play around with two tones of a similar color. Okay, so this one's really fun. It has 16 diamonds total. It goes all the way around. And I show you in the video how to applique these on. I used Wonder Web, which is a fusible web, to apply these. And then my machine at the studio, well, actually it's here now, but what is it called? It's a Juki. It's a Juki home machine, and it does a blanket stitch that looks a lot like a hand blanket stitch that you would do in applique. So that's what we did on this one. And then the tassels are applied by punching holes in the felt and then tying them off on the back. I got these silk tassels on Etsy. If you watch the video, I talked a little about how I wish I'd gotten cotton tassels because these silk tassels are so slippery that once I tied them off on the back, they just came apart. So they like actually like they wouldn't stay even double knotted on the back. So that is Amy's skirt, and hers has the pockets. It has the curved pockets here. And then my skirt, shall we talk about mine? I am so excited about this, guys. I saw a post by, do you guys follow Extabay Vintage on Instagram? She posted an Emma Dom skirt. Actually, it was a gown. It was like a 40s shocking pink silk gown with this style of lace applique around the hem and kind of climbing up the side here. And I was like, I have to figure out how to do that. So I started working with like hand drawing these appliques to kind of looking at that picture of the Emma Dom gown and then hand drawing appliques to fit around the hem of a circle skirt. So you can see it goes all the way around. Oops, I'm gonna have to move. It goes all the way around to the back. And this was so fun to work on. It was a bit of a challenge because lace is obviously sheer, and you can see it's the same lace that I used in this Rita blouse. So I wanted this to kind of go together as a set. So I found a great method using a spray fusible that dries sheer, and I actually ended up using a blind hem stitch to stitch around all these appliques. And I used freezer paper, and it's like a whole process, guys, but I think I got it down to a really good, easy to understand process. And I provide the appliques for you on Patreon. So we basically digitized these same appliques that I drew and then made them into different size groupings. Like this is a size 6 skirt. So we made the appliques graded as well. So there are 3 size groupings. So if you're in the larger or smaller end of the range, your appliques will still fit on the skirt appropriately. So I tell you how to download and use the appliques, and they come in AO files as well as tiled files, and how to place them on the skirt and everything. So this was like a totally new kind of project for me. I have never in my life, guys, I'm getting at like how this was like a really momentous kind of project for me. I've never like hand drawn an applique. I've never released anything like this that was more like a template for an applique. I've never worked with a lot of these materials, and it just got me so excited and energized, like the whole process. Like when I would be kind of like figuring it out and placing things, it just was like so exciting for me, because this is like why I started the Patreon, because I was like, I need to be like pushing myself every month in new mediums, new designs, new inspiration. And like I was just so excited that like here we were like on month 3 of Patreon, right? February, March, April. And I was like doing all this stuff that I'd never done before, and like so excited about how it was turning out. So yeah, so that's really exciting, and why this was like just a really personally exciting project for me. But yeah, I love it. I'm gonna wear this every day. Whee! It has a very like Mexicana sort of vibe to it too. And then yeah, those are the 3 skirts. Do you guys have questions, or should I just twirl? Oh, should I just twirl for the rest of the live so you can see it? This is it. This is the live stream today, guys. This is it. Oh, you don't like that, Hattie? So yeah, that's the deal, guys. Twirl and preen. It's a twirl and preen. So I also like the idea of, if you want to do this in different colors, I mean, you could use these floral templates as a starting point. I mean, even when I was working on the digitizing of this applique, I saw it in like white on a green background, and I was like, oh, that's gorgeous too. You know what I mean? So like there's a lot you can do, and you could do just felt, you could do different materials, etc. Do I think the felt would hold up to machine embroidery? I really have no idea. I don't know hardly anything. I don't know hardly nothing about machine embroidery. So maybe you guys, if you are familiar, can answer each other's questions. I'm the twirling queen. How much cursing should I expect when making the lace applique? I don't think I cursed that much. I think for me, it was, and Melisha can back me up or not, because she was in the studio. We were in the studio together when I was working on this. I feel like the sort of frustrating part of the process was figuring out how to do it. And so I feel like I figured out the frustrating part for you guys, I hope, because I went down a few different paths. Like I tried something called Misty Fuse that people like love, but just didn't work well for this project. And like, that was a big disappointment. And like, I had days where I was like, it's never going to work. And then I got it to work, and I was like, it's not hard. It's just time consuming. Like you would need to put aside a full day to do the applique. So the whole process of the applique, I think. So yeah, that's how, I mean, I feel like that's how it went for me. Let's see. Any more questions? Any more questions? Yeah, it was totally worth it. And I really enjoyed the process of making this. And I did most of the sewing on Amy's too. And I have to say hers was also really fun, because it was like just simple. It was simpler than this one. And once I figured out, like got the appliques where they needed to be, and then just doing the stitching around them, it was pretty easy. You can make them 3D too. Yeah, you can also cut out appliques on a Cricut. I definitely went down the path of shopping for Cricuts when I was working on these designs. And then I was like, well, that might be another point in the process. I don't know if, and someone said on Patreon that they were going to see if they could cut these in a Cricut. So I'm excited to hear back about that. The blouse I'm wearing is the Charm Patterns Rita blouse. And earlier this month, we did on April 1st for Patreon, we released an expansion for this pattern. So you can buy the pattern on the Charm Pattern site, but then if you want the sleeve, this long sleeve, you have to get it on Patreon. So this was an expansion. Yeah, I would love to learn more about Cricuts. I love fiddly projects, but I'm weird. The diamonds are felt as well. How wide does the fabric for the skirt need to be? Well, I mean, I think so. People are saying they're only finding felt that's like 35 or 36 inches. We use, yeah, Melisha just said we use 72-inch wide felt, which is great. But the thing is, the skirt is 27 inches long for like the size 8. So, and felt doesn't have a grain, so you can move the pieces like in any direction to get them to work on your fabric. So I think that 36 should be just fine. I don't know how much you would need. You're going to have to kind of, place some pieces out, maybe on a table and kind of figure that out. But as long as you can get, the longest side of the piece, which would be, for like a size 8 would be about 27, 28 inches with seam allowances. So I think 36 should be fine. How heavy of felt should these be? I mean, it doesn't really matter. It can be any weight of felt. I would say don't go up to the like super thick, like 1/4 inch, like the billiard felt. But these are 1 millimeter thick, these felts. And let's see, I have also made one in 3 millimeters thick. So it really doesn't matter. I wouldn't say that, you need to kind of split hairs with those millimeters. All right, so let's see. People are shopping for felt. Is there any difference between using acrylic and wool felt? So I would say the difference is, yes, there are differences. Acrylic, people I know have complained about it stretching. Acrylic also has a bit of a sheen to it. But it would work perfectly well for this as long as you're careful about the stretching. I think I haven't personally used acrylic felt, so I'm not sure. Wool felt doesn't have any sheen to it, and we haven't noticed any issues with it stretching. So that's the only real difference that I know of. Out of curiosity, could these be made with a cotton fabric instead of felt? You can definitely make the Stanwyck skirt out of cotton. There is a list of recommended fabrics on the Charm Pattern site. Any bottom weight woven will work fine. With the appliques, you could use a different material for them, but it really needs to be something that won't fray. Otherwise, you're going to need to turn in the edges of the appliques. So that's a whole other process. The reason people use felt for appliques a lot is because felt does not fray at all. So you can cut it. And lace also doesn't fray. So this was a nice alternative to felt for the applique. So if you do applique in a woven fabric, you need to do something called, what's it called? Needle turn. You have to turn under the edges of the applique, which is a whole process. It would be easy with the diamonds, though. Yeah, it would not be easy with the flowers. Yeah, so that's kind of the skirt. without the appliques, you can make in a whole variety of fabrics, and just like check out those recommendations on the Charm Pattern site. And like I said, when it comes to the applique, there are different considerations. You really want to use something that's not going to fray. All right. Yeah, you can do a satin stitch on the edge. That's true. I often feel like that looks like a little too heavy, but I guess it depends on the design. Watch for pilling on cheap felt. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of experience with different types of felt other than wool and wool blends. I've also used wool and rayon blended felt. It's also not my favorite because it's a little bit shiny, but it is cheaper, which is nice. So those are my only two. Oh yeah, you could do heat seal on the edges. Yeah, there are other things that you can do with applique for the methods that I show in the video, but I think you'd want to find something that does not fray. Yeah, you can definitely, yeah, Missy's talking about craft felt. Yeah, it's just it's one of those things, like the price reflects what you're getting, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't use it at all, but there's a reason that craft felt is under $10 a yard and wool felt is $60 a yard. But I totally get not being able to go with the wool felt because it's really pricey. So guys, if you're looking for fabric recommendations, it's all on fabric recommendations, yardage amounts, it's all on the Charm Pattern site on the Stanwick skirt page. The Stanwick skirt in check is that felt. I don't know what that means. All right, everyone. So that is what we did on Patreon today. And then what's coming up at 6 p.m. is the YouTube premiere of the Stanwick skirt, made in felt, no embellishments, start to finish. So if these all look just like too advanced for you, you don't want to do embellishments, you just want to learn how to sew a skirt, this is a great beginner friendly project. And on YouTube, this is going to be a free hour-long tutorial, and it takes you through the ins and outs of making the skirt, sewing it, putting in the lap zipper, doing the pockets, all of that, the waistband, everything that you need to know to sew this skirt. So I'm super excited about this. And I make that aqua colored one that you've seen me wear recently. I make that one on camera, start to finish. So I'm super excited for you guys to see it. And if you're more of a beginner sewer, and even if you're new to working with felt, or just want to see how the Stanwick skirt comes together, then I think you guys will really enjoy this video. So yeah, that's what's coming up tonight. Thank you guys. I'm so glad you're excited about the videos. Someone just asked what type of fabric was my brown pencil Stanwick skirt. That was a wool tweed. Yeah, so we're going to do a premiere. That's going to be in half an hour. So if you have never done a premiere with me, they're super fun. And all it is we're watching the video like this and chatting over here. So you can ask questions. I'll be there on chat, and it's really fun. And yeah, you guys should definitely check out the Patreon video too, because it was really fun to make. We did it in the studio, and Amy was there, and Melisha was on camera, and it was really fun. It felt like the plan was for it to be kind of like a little sewing party, at the studio. You guys are used to seeing these videos shot in my home now, but there was not enough room for 3 people. So we just kind of like spread out at the studio, and there were 3 of us kind of around the table, and we were just all working on our skirts. And like, I go and talk to Melisha. So I talk a little bit about the inspiration for each skirt. We show you the inspiration images. I go talk to Melisha, and she explained to us how she did her paillettes and her stitching on of the trim. And then we go over and talk to Amy, and I show her how to do one of the appliques, and she stitches one on, and we do the tassels getting sewn on. And then I explain the whole process for my skirt. Should I get up and twirl again? I should. Then I explain the process for doing my skirt. This old thing. So should we talk about posing? So for this skirt, we have a statement sleeve and a full skirt. We have to go back to our posing basics. It's the hip pop, and then you got to prop your toe, the pop and prop. Hold your skirt out. I would really want to hold this side, so maybe for this one I should pop the other hip. Hold this side of the skirt out, and then you would have to do like a dramatic show off your sleeve kind of thing. Oh, that's good. How do we like that? And you can really see the full width of the sleeve. And then you just work it. Oh, you got to get this arm kind of away from your body too. All right, that's something you want to avoid with posing. You don't want this so much because, the other thing that I've learned is that when you're choosing photos and you're looking at photos, it's hard. I got to tuck my shirt in. It's hard not to get like obsessed about every little detail on a photo. So if you're having trouble choosing between photos that you've taken, what you can do is you squint at it. So you don't want to look at it clearly. If you squint, then you'll just see the silhouette really clearly, and you'll know which is like the most striking silhouette. Because think about how we look at things on Instagram, on websites. It's never like a big picture where you're critiquing every little detail of the photo. So you want to get the right silhouette here. So if you're holding this out and you get your silhouette going there, what you want to remember too, if I hold my arm here, I'm kind of obscuring the whole form and silhouette. But if I hold this arm out here, or even just so if it's a little bit separated from my body, then that gives a better like squint test, right? So I just have to be really careful. You're just trying to avoid, this does not give a good squint test at all. It's like, that's what is that? So yeah, you want to really like work the silhouette. Oh, bless you, Hattie. Can you hear that? She has the cutest little sneezes. All right, everyone. So that's today's live. It's just me twirling, posing, preening. Oh, the other thing that you can do to pose is pretend you're taking a step, but actually take a step forward. So like, oh, I'm walking. Oh, hello. Or like, oh, taxi, and you just kind of like keep taking a step forward so it looks like you're in motion. So do the twirl, and then you fall over. I feel like I need to sit back here. That step pose may be super tricky. Welcome to my home. I'm going to sit back here and have a sip of Coke Zero. Sponsored by Coke Zero. Not really. Let me get it. It's been a somewhat stressful day trying to get all this stuff going, but I'm not going to complain. I won't complain. I can't complain. I mean, I can, but I won't. So yeah, I mean, seems like everything is going to go off in the end well. Oh, and did you guys see the pictures were taken at Newburgh Vintage Emporium, which is like a vintage store? And that must have been, I'm going to preen my hair while I do this. That must have been March 10th. And Missy was originally going to come join us for that photo shoot, and they were just kind of shutting things down in California, so she couldn't come out. And then this might be okay. Like, is this going to affect us? I don't know. And it really felt like it was kind of up in the and I've just been sequestered in my house, in my confinement since then. So since March, like we had a crew come up from the city to photograph, and like no, everyone's fine as far as I know. No one had any symptoms or got sick or anything, so we're all super lucky. So yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of crazy looking back on that week, and just the way it all kind of went down. And then when we closed the studio, I was like, well, at least which obviously has not happened. So it's just interesting looking back on the photos, given everything that's gone down since then, and see people like out at restaurants and like it's just like it feels like another world, another time. Yeah, we're able to get back up and running is doing location shoots again, because that was one of the goals with the Patreon too, was to. And then we did Newburgh Vintage Warehouse. I have so many ideas for places we could shoot. There's this little ice cream stand in Newburgh called Mary Jane's Dairy Bar that's so cute. And, you know, just all the places I was like, oh, could we go to Coney Island? And like, could we do Dutchess County Fair? Like, so many ideas for places that we could do location shoots. But the fun thing is shots, but I was like, you know, I really want to make this look. I want this to be like representative of the time. So I wanted it all to be like at home and in my home. So yeah, it'll just be interesting to look back on these projects, and I am so curious to see when we're able to be out shooting again. But I'm just so glad that we were able to get these out when we did. All right, we'll come back over and talk to you guys some more. Troll with bad grammar. What I just missed trolls. Oh, Marin, you want to visit Newburgh? Yeah, you should when you come visit, because you will come visit in September for the retreat. It's going to happen. So, yeah, you'll be here. I'll take you over to Newburgh. Let's see. All right, twirl break. Advanced posing. And actually, one of the things I've been noticing about, you know, still releasing things and being on social media is that people are sewing like crazy. I have not seen so many people tag me so regularly in posts in a long time. Like the output that you guys are doing is astounding. So I just have to say, like, for all of you at home sewing and getting so much done and being so creative with your time, like, I applaud you so much. And that's one of the things I love about this community is like, yeah, we can spend time on Animal Crossing, honing their skills. And it's just so great to see that we've been able to just stay in our sewing rooms and keep working on projects, you know? And I think degrees. So to that effect, it's been really positive. Someone just said they haven't sewn anything. If you haven't sewn anything, that's fine too. So please do go check that out. All of those resources are digital, so I shared them through the video. I can't like hold up my phone and show you. So if you want to see our original source material that we were inspired by, please check out the Patreon video, because at the beginning I talk about each of the skirts and their inspiration. Yeah, if you haven't been sewing either, and you know, if you haven't had time to sew, or if you haven't had the inspiration to sew, that's fine too. You know, I think that's one of the things about this is that it feels different for everybody. And if you feel like just looking at sewing patterns, planning what you're going to make, that's fine too. Colin, you've been sewing 6 days a week. That's great to hear. That is really great to hear. Yeah. So whatever you feel like sewing, whatever you don't feel like sewing, I think it's all good, and like don't judge yourself. I have been sewing this project that I keep teasing you about that's going to be coming out in May, and I'm so excited about it. I tried out a new embellishment technique, new for me, and I love how it came out. So I cannot wait, excuse me, to show that to you. All right. So I think that's it, guys. I think that's it for me. The premiere starts in for the content coming out. There will be a May 1st Patreon project that I gave you guys a little sneak peek of. And that's an expansion. Actually approached me and said they'd like to sponsor a pattern. So that's just the one thing I'll tell you about it. So that was really awesome to be able to work with them and kind of come up with a new project that you guys would want to sew now. So it's been something that I've only been working on since I've been home in quarantine. So it was like a project born of quarantine. So I can't wait to show it to you guys. And so yeah, there's someone said, how many new subs have I gotten with so many people looking for sewing videos? Well, you know, my YouTube, I started doing Gertie's World, which was our project in conjunction with Patreon. So it means we're releasing a new long form YouTube video every month that my subscribers have grown, have doubled. So, and that's only we're in our 3rd month of that. So that's pretty amazing to see. And yeah, there's just a lot of people out there looking right now, especially for sewing content. So it's great to see. And yeah, I just feel lucky right now that this is something that the way that it's affected my business, at least, is that people are kind of like looking for our products more, which is nice. And it's nice to see people sewing more. So yeah, something to be grateful for. Okay, everyone. It's buffering again. It buffered again. Can you hear me? Too much buffering. I'll just preen. I'll just play with my hair. So maybe I will repeat it on a day that we're not having buffering issues. So yeah, I'm just gonna go now. And then we will come back and we'll talk about it another day, I promise. So yeah, I only really wanted to share it like live. It's not something that I'm like looking to type yet. So I'm not gonna put it in any stories or any posts, but we'll talk about it like just next time we hang out together. All right, guys. So thank you for hanging in there. Go over to the premiere now. That starts in 10 minutes. So go to the premiere. That was loaded in advance, so there shouldn't be any buffering issues. Please, YouTube. So I will see you over there, and we'll be on chat.